Have you ever been given advice you never asked for, but secretly craved?
Ever find yourself drowning in a sea of indecision?
Wondering if you should dye your hair purple or take that cross country road trip?
Don't worry, because this week, we've got your back.
Buckle up, because we're about to go on a journey of unsolicited wisdom that just might change your life.
And drop some truth bombs you never knew you needed.
Yeah. On this episode of Just Draws.
What's up, everybody? You've tuned in to Just Draws, the podcast that explores hot topics and various experiences among same gender loving black men. In each episode, we offer raw, vulnerable, and stripped down perspectives to give voice to our frequently overlooked population. Here, we don't just scratch the surface, we dive deep, peeling back the layers of our experiences as well as heteronormative stereotypes. Let's get into this week's episode.
All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Just Draws podcast. I am Jeff, and tonight we're coming from Harpo Studios. In addition to Jeff, tonight we've got
Brandon.
And it's your boy Darius with a little piece of a cold, but I'm here.
not a piece of a cold.
A piece,
Nice.
just a piece of one, yeah.
All right. And today we've got a special guest. Sitting in for Sean this week is one of my best friends here in the Atlanta area. It is John. Yay, John's here.
Hey, everybody. John.
Hey,
All right. So I've been knowing John for a while. And in our friends episode, he's one of the people that I'm referencing to. So this episode is actually airing or being uploaded after that episode has been recorded. So that's one of the people that I was talking about. All right. So John, you want to give us a little bit about yourself and introduce our audience to you?
Certainly. My name's John. Not short for anything. On the cusp of turning 42. I live in this place called Atlanta, Georgia, native of Athens, Georgia. In my regular life, I'm a buyer for an engineering firm. I guess the one amazing fact that I have to tell is that I'm a recent initiate of the Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated.
All right.
And give a shout out to my line brothers, Spaghetti Junction, Rush Hour, and Overpass.
All right.
Was
Awesome.
there like a theme to you all's names, or it was just like random?
There was a theme. Our ship name, or line name is Blue Highway. Me being up front, even though I didn't want to be in the beginning. I'm DOT. I'm pretty sure it doesn't stand for Department of Transportation, but it kind of lines up with it. And
They didn't tell you what the acronym was?
they have not told me what my acronym is yet. I have no fear, all anticipation that it'll be something rather comical, but it lines up with my personality on the line itself, kind of being, at least in my own mind, kind of the one that really brought everyone together, the strategist, the administrator. So I'm like, okay, I like DOT, even though in my head I was like, could they give me something like Law and Order SVU, or I just didn't want to be like a storm. I didn't want to be a quiet storm, a silent storm, dust storm, but no, I love my good old acronym of DOT.
Okay.
All right, cool. Cool. Yeah, that's pretty neat the way they
Nice,
did that.
congrats.
Because one thing about Atlanta is it is known for its traffic and how bad
Mm.
it is. So all of that tracks. All right. So today we're going to do something a little different. We won't have like a heavy talk discussion. We're just gonna try something where we're pulling some Reddit questions from different subreddits, and I'm just gonna read them, and then we're going to give our takes on how we would approach these situations. So basically, just saying what we would do if this was us. Giving or in the situation and the advice that we're giving. So we're not telling people what to do. We're just saying what we think we would do or how we would react. So please use good, sensible judgment if these replies apply to you in any way. All right, so I'm going to start off with a couple of low stake questions, and then I've got a couple ones that will kind of raise things and maybe get a little bit spicy.
Okay.
So,
So this is kind of like our what dear draws.
yeah. This is kind of like we're giving some advice. Thus, why we're coming from Harpo Studios.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
These
See,
aha moments that we're gonna
I'll
have.
be I'll be thinking. I'll be thinking. This is probably one of the first times where one of the only times where we're coming from actually matches the subject. Sometimes I just stuff kind of just pulls
Just
out.
pull it out of the air.
Just pulls out there. Okay. So everybody, so this is coming from the Ask Men subreddit. I'm not going to use a username. But people can find this if they want to. So what's something you love and something you hate about being a guy? Colin says this is a fake name. All the names that I'm using for these are going to be fake. So that's what Colin is asking today. What is something you love and something you hate about being a guy? Anyone wants to go first?
I'll take it.
All right.
Now, quick question. Is it a bamboozle if I have the same answer for both
No,
men?
because I don't
Okay.
have the answer. I don't even have the. I mean, I've got the link to it, but I'm not reading answers that the internet provided to these people. So I really just chose the questions because I thought they were good, but I did not read anyone's responses. So I'm not influenced by whatever anyone on Reddit would have said to these.
Okay. So I'll say one thing I do like about being a guy is privilege. There is male privilege, you know what I
Okay.
mean? Clearly we all know this. So I enjoy having the benefit, I'm not championing it as something that's fair, you know what I mean? But you know, I enjoy the lots of privilege that come with being a male, being a guy, that obviously women don't get to
Okay.
benefit from. But one thing I also hate about that is I don't know if I would gauge that as I would hate my privilege or if I hate female privilege that I don't get to participate in. You know what I
Okay.
mean? So it's that catch 22. Like just like things about like, you know, like certain things like that are hot topics at times, like with women wanting to be equal, you know, in society and, you know, wanting to be paid the same as men,
Okay.
to, you know, have the same access to doing the same jobs and being respected the same way. Yet um they still get to rest on certain laurels that are a part of their feminine privilege, their
And the
female privilege. You know
patriarchy.
what I mean? Yeah. So you know what I mean? It's like, perfect example, like my boo Candy and Todd. Like they act like Todd, you know, scrubs floors at the Wendy's overnight because he doesn't make as much as a super millionaire like Candy. As if this man came in with nothing. But whereas if the roles were reversed, nobody would bat an eye. You know,
Okay.
so
No, they wouldn't.
And
say it
that's
again.
true. Well, I'll say for me, one thing I like about being a guy is that um I like that I don't have to I have to be independent rather. So I embrace the fact that I don't have to bear children or I don't have to go through menstruation. Those are things that I'm just it seems very inconvenient.
Preach.
Yeah, so I'm just happy that I'm male, and I could be straight and still have that same happiness, because I just feel like it's a burden. But on the flip side, what I hate about being a guy is that being male is it's very lonely, because once you get to a certain age, there's this expectation that you should be able to be independent. So when there's times where you need a little bit of help, everything is like, just have to,
Man up.
man up, pull yourself up by your bootstraps. You have to take care of it yourself. There's no outreach. There's very few programs for men if they lose a job or if they're in a battered relationship. And I mean, these are very small instances what that happen, or occurrences for men is very rare. But men can be battered by other men can be battered by women, and it happens a lot. And because of the way our society is set, you can't fight back. A man can't hit another woman, and all of that. And so you end up carrying a lot of shame in a situation like that, and it becomes very difficult because we expect men to be able to just man up and fix their own problems without any help, and have that independence all the time. And we don't recognize that sometimes we do need a little bit of help if we're even able to ask for it, because I know I'm definitely one of those that is going to be the last person to ask for help when I know I need it. And that's something that I aware of and I struggle with. But I'm working on that. So those are the two things that something I hate and something that I love.
So I'm going to go into the dislike part
Okay.
because I kind of agree with you and Brandon, the idea of the lack of privilege. And I'll add to that the stereotypes that that are imposed on males. I mean, that can definitely go both ways because women have these stereotypes of you got to be in the kitchen and you got to be a lady in the streets and a freak in the sheets and all of that stuff. But there are some stereotypical things that males are imposed on males as well, like the idea that in relationships we have to look like this, we have to function in a certain way, we have to have this sort of role, we have to pay for everything, we have to be support, we have to do all of these different things, and we have to create this song and dance for people that we have coming into our lives that sometimes isn't true to who we really are. We have emotions, we have things that we're dealing with sometimes, and sometimes we don't want to always have to be in essence the strong one. We want to be able to kind of rest in the pocket a little bit and say, okay, hey, look, I'm not good right now, and that's difficult for us to say because we haven't been trained to do that. So I kind of hate that about being a guy, because we're not properly trained in those areas sometimes, but especially in the Black community. And then on top of that, being a male, or say a more masculine presenting gay male, like sometimes we have issues with that too. But one of the things that I like about being a male is the fact that I can piss standing up. And
Yes,
I
sir.
love the fact that I can do that because have you seen
Wherever you
public
gotta go.
restrooms? Yeah. And if I had to sit down, like, to go to the bathroom, and I've heard of some women who can do that, they're gifted like that they can potentially pee standing up. But I like the fact that it's like, okay, look, I just need to go in here, pull this out,
Whip it out.
let it go, and wrap it back up, and and put it away, and we can keep it moving. And if the bathroom is not its best, okay, that's cool, but I'm definitely, and I've said that to myself plenty of times, that I have enjoyed that aspect of being a guy.
I enjoy being a boy.
That's
Yeah.
facts. It's one of those overlooked privileges.
It absolutely, it's not overlooked over here because I recognize.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. John, let's get in there. What you got?
So for myself, I enjoy the freedom of being a guy, being able to chart my own destiny, whether that is falling in the lines of tradition or being rather non-traditional. I love that freedom of choice. Sometimes it's not the best choice, but I enjoy that freedom of choice. What I don't love about being a guy is, maybe not me personally, but I hate when I see a man not living up to being an upstanding man. Like, so many have just abandoned their duty of being men, and for what?
So
That's
like give a little bit more context what you mean by
the duty
of man. Yeah.
meaning, for Black people in particular, so many abandon their families that they create.
Okay.
And they create multiple families, they leave it fractured. They're not there for their children. They're not there for their babies' mothers. Sometimes they're not even there for themselves. They try to find these various ways of self-medicating without really doing any improvement and becoming a better man. in this thing called life. We're here for such a short time, and some people completely just fumble all the way through. And that's kind of annoying because those of us that are doing our best to live up to being an upstanding man, sometimes we get lumped into that just based on biology.
Yeah.
So I think that has a lot to do with training too. Like I just mentioned that, we're not properly trained in all areas of manhood, in that respect. Like it's like, okay, there's this side, there's the provide side, there's the side of manning up and standing in whatever it is that you're doing. But then like there are other things. There's that nurturing side that we're never, or that we're taught that is anti-male,
Right.
and there's that side of yeah, provide. But how many of us had situations and instances where we had a male in our lives that provided like that and gave us the example of what it should be as a whole, not saying anybody here, but as a whole.
Yeah. No.
Facts.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to piggyback off of what John just said, because I think that a lot of that is that whole barbershop mentality slash like the fact that traditionally Black straight men aren't typically held accountable.
No.
Like the community, like we as people rally around them because of what the world gives the Black man, quote unquote, when he walks out the door and faces the world every day. So the community has traditionally rallied around and coddled straight Black men for so long. And so it's led to generation after generation after generation doing that same abandoning that John spoke of, where it's like it's a learned behavior that is validated in those spaces where it's just them together, or predominantly them together, like the barbershop, where they can all relate to, like they can support each other in terrible decision making because there's community in it.
Yeah.
Systemic man children.
Man children. All right, cool. Well, thanks for that, guys. We're going to move on to our next question. So this is coming from Jason. All right, so this is coming from the advice subreddit. I found out that all of my friends have a group chat without me, and I've been friends with some of them for more than 7 years, and the reason some of them even met. I feel like I'm complaining over something childish, but it feels like a confrontation that I'm either just tolerated or confirmation rather, that I'm either just tolerated or not important to them. What do I do? So group chat etiquette is something that's very interesting. But I'll say this, sometimes you're not in the group chat just because your phone system and the other people's phone system is not the same. And everybody doesn't want to use GroupMe or WhatsApp.
That is so clinical.
We're not doing that on Android slander.
That is so clinical.
Not on my watch.
And so off of what is actually going on here, but continue, please.
Right.
Yeah, sometimes you're just not on the right phone platform. That's all that means. And I'm not endorsing or endorsing or or shitting on any other phone platform, because I use both. I go both ways. But that being said, so sometimes you're not in the group chat just because
he's versed. Yeah, he's versed in these streets.
Sometimes you're just not in the group chat because it may be a group chat subject that you're just not the right vibe for. And that's okay. You're not going to always be the sync or the move. And even if these friends did meet because of you, it may just be that sometimes, the other people just kind of really do gel better, but it doesn't mean that they don't like you as a friend. It just means that, hey, we're in this group chat because we like to talk about memes and share crazy videos, and everybody is not the meme sharing type, and that's okay, if that's what they're doing in the chat. But I can see where a person can feel like, oh, I'm paranoid because I'm not involved in that chat. What are they talking about? Are they talking about me? So you're going to start feeling that anxiety, like, oh, it's got to be about me because I'm not in there. And we do that a lot. We do that even when we're in a place where we're the only person of this sex or the only person of this ethnicity, we may feel like, oh, they're talking in this language I don't understand. They got to be talking about me. And that may not be it at all. Could be that they're even trying to surprise you with a party or something else, or it just could be that, you're not the vibe, and that's okay. You're not the vibe for the other people that are in that chat. He didn't say how many that there were, so I just think that it's less of a deal than Jason's making, and I think he just needs to kind of relax a bit, and everything isn't for everybody, and that's okay.
I agree with that. I do. I agree with that assessment. I think it's rather childish that he's got this fear of missing out because he's not in there. I'm like,
yeah,
okay, let it go. You're not in a group chat. Life goes on. One thing he can hold on to that the others can't really say they did was bringing all these different people together. That is a major thing. Even outside of this group chat, y'all all are friends. That's an amazing thing. I hope he finds peace and, knowing he did bring these people together. And even if they do have these small subsets within the friend group, everything's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Be better. Try anyway.
Right. Brandon?
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say I kind of get it from both ways, to be honest, just stepping back looking at it. But I think, like we all know, more than one thing can be true at the same time. Like, because on one hand, like I'm the kind of person where I could just be like, okay, oh well, like I mean, I'm okay with like be like a group of friends, just like a group of friends. If you have a friend circle, they are gonna be, oh, John and Tyrone are really, really tight. You know what I mean? And like they always roll together. But Mike and Joe are also really tight. They roll, you know what I mean? Just different relationships amongst a group that is still all friends. You know what I mean? Some bonds are just tighter. So like it's very easy to think that like due to something specific, a subgroup chat can sprout up. You know what I mean? Like amongst a few of them who are the super tightest, the ones who hit the club every weekend. You know what I mean? If some of the others are never down to go out and stuff like that. So I mean, there's just so many variables about why the group chat can veer off. But I feel like, and I mean, trust me, I know not everyone is, as I've been told, as direct as me. But I feel like if he had an issue with it, he should just ask. Like if he found out about the other group chat, I would just be like, and if I felt a way about it, I would be like, oh, so what's this about? What like when did y'all get a new group chat or whatever? If he felt blindsided by the idea of them having a group chat that he's not in, if he considers them his friends.
And he does. That was my whole thing. It bothers him because he posted the thing and said, "What should I do?" So that clearly is an indication of, okay, this isn't sitting well with me. So I'm the same way. I would have said, okay, I'm gonna ask, like, what's going on? Like why is it that not on some you can't be friends with each other because I'm the one that brought us all together kind of thing, but the idea that you all are making moves and we're all supposed to be friends, like I would ask. I mean, of course, I have a bunch of other questions though. Like, so you know how I do. I'm like, okay, hold up. Now, how did he find out about the group chat?
Right.
What, and clearly it was some sort of secretive kind of thing because he didn't know about it. It wasn't like they were like, hey, we got this other group chat to talk about, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And yeah, I would have just asked. I mean, I'm confrontational though, so I'm the one that's like, nah, we're gonna figure this out and find out what's.
And I'm like, and then even if like, as much as some of us would like to be like, oh, okay, like the adulting in us is like, oh, like, oh, don't worry about it. It has nothing to blah blah blah. If you're like feeling some kind of way about it, per what Jeff was just saying about our male, like what we don't get to do is, oh, Jeff or Darius, one of y'all just said about us not getting to be expressive of our feelings. Like if you feel kind of way, like you feel kind of left out, that your boys are like kind of you feel like you're not being included, speak up and find out why.
Yeah.
It might be something that you're doing that's rubbing people the wrong way, or
That's true.
it could be that they felt like, like, oh well, he might probably wouldn't even be interested in the stuff we do over here. I mean, there's just so many variables. If it's bothering you, speak up.
That's true. No.
Yeah.
All right. So that's everyone. Did John, you jumped in on this, did you?
He did.
Cool. All right.
But I do want to bring up something
Sure.
that came up in the discussion. Going back to question one, one thing I love about being a guy, male friendships, male relationships. That's something, even, it has its moments, but I love seeing a group of men come together and really have these long-standing friendships and relationships with one another. I think I forgot his name already. That asked the question. Jason. That asked the question.
Jason.
Talk to your friends, man. They are your friends. Get out of the group chat. Have it face to face.
There you go. Good deal. All right. So this next question comes from Kev. This is coming from the Black LGBT subreddit. So the question is, does anyone else feel this way? I'm talking to this person. They still have Grindr and Scruff. I'm obviously insecure as fuck, AF, but they said they wanted to see where things go. I just find it annoying when people say that, but still talk to other people. Yes, I know we're not exclusive, but my bad for assuming if you wanted to get to know someone, you'd be less likely to be on those apps, unless there was a reason for it. So, sounds like Kevin's issue here is that he doesn't feel like this person should still have Grindr and Scruff. And that
What's his name again? Kevin?
This is Kev.
Oh, Kev. Yeah, Kev's insecure. And
Mm.
that's that's period hard stop on that. And unless they've had a conversation about this is where we are in this relationship or this is where we are at this point, then everything is fair game. And if that person is on the apps, clearly you're on the apps too, if you know that person is on the apps.
Facts.
So what are you still doing on the apps, but you're upset with somebody else about them being on the apps? You're not being fair in that situation. And then the idea of where, I just want to see where things go is the standard gay smoke screen for, I'ma still do me, and we'll see. Yeah, I'm not serious, about anything yet. So I'm just going to, continue to do me. I like our vibe, I like our energy, I like the sex, or I like the way you look. But if the next best thing comes along, I might jump over there. So that's my take on that.
Yeah, but I mean, I can see like if you're in that let's see where things go period, it could be that I like you. I'm also liking other people at the same time, and I'm not really sure how I feel about either one of y'all. And I just want to make sure that I can make the best decision for me in that situation. So I can see where that comes from.
Was it that the
but
other person said, let's see where things go, or was it that Kev said that?
He said, but they said they wanted to see where things go. So this is what the person told Kev. And
it's so funny that it's like they. We're still using that. Like I'm seeing somebody, but they, and I'm like, wait, that's plural.
And Kev said this person. So we don't even know, but we're assuming that because they're using Grindr and Scruff that we're dealing with another male. And this was the Black LGBT subreddit.
Yeah, he could have just said he.
Yeah, he could have. But yeah, I'm with you, Darius. I feel like it's definitely insecure, and I feel like it's not really understanding, the domain of just being in the dating pool. When you're in the dating pool, you have every right as a non-exclusive person to talk to other people at the same time, and that is a concept that either a lot of us don't want to really see because we're not engaging in that ourselves. We get focused in on one person, and that is what we do, and I've done that before myself, and we don't really manage dating multiple people at one time. And so if we're not at the stage where we can do that and we see someone that we like actually doing that, then we can feel some kind of way because now we're jealous that they're entertaining other options and not me because I should be their everything. And you can't be that. And we just met. We're not exclusive. You're not my boyfriend. We're not, in a exclusive relationship. So how can you be mad at me for looking at other people? And then, like you said, how I'm on Scruff and Grindr.
Yeah.
Because I'm there too.
And that head tilt.
Exactly. Oh, Kev. Oh, Kev. Kev. Oh my God. Kev, just leave the man alone. Be on the apps. Be happy. Don't be insecure. It's tiresome. Not only for you, but for me. Just hearing that, I'm annoyed with Kev. And I like Kev. I don't know Kev from a man.
I like Kev.
I like Kev.
Don't know him from a can of paint.
Right. You like it. You just want to see where things go with you and Kev.
No, not at this point in my life. No, because Kev, no, I think he relies on his insecurity to get through life. And it's like you can't be insecure about everything. I want him to really find what makes him happy. You can't put it all in one guy. If he's on the apps, he's on the apps. You don't have dominion over him, nor does he have dominion over you. I think he kind of needs to go on a journey and really find out what makes him happy, because it may not be trying to see where things go with this particular guy that's on the apps that bring up his insecurity. You don't know where his journey has taken him that's gotten him to this point. So I want all the best for Kev, but right now I don't think this exactly is it, unless he's willing to have the conversation and really deal with some hard truths that may come out, that this guy's saying, I'm not getting off the apps. I'll continue to talk to you, but I ain't letting go of the apps.
All right.
You know what? I was gonna throw Kev to the wolves like everybody else real fast. Like, out of here, Kev. 86 Kev. That's 86 in there. But I'm gonna throw Kev a small little bone now, because well, one, for me, like I remember being a friend of mine from college years ago I guess we were talking about Black people and dates and meeting people and stuff. And that friend had been having a conversation with somebody else, and they pointed out to him, they were like, the problem is Black people don't date. Black people meet somebody, and like you kind of touched on that, Jeff, when you were saying how, whether or not we get caught up in being exclusive with somebody before we know it, and blah, blah, blah. But I feel like that's such a thing with Black people in general. Like we meet somebody, we start talking, and then that's the path. Like, instead of going to, have a drink with Tom Monday and, going to lunch with Mike on Friday, you know what I mean? And actually getting to know different people on a platonic level of getting to actually know them. So then that way you don't feel like you have to, you're put into, that way you don't feel like you're missing out, because you've gotten to know these people, like, and so you know who you want to pursue. And so I think that's a big issue in the first place. So of course he can still have, the other guy can still have the apps on. Like, if y'all are completely not exclusive and y'all are dating, that's what dating should be. But I was going to say, the bone I was going to throw, Kev, is, now, if it could be the fact that the apps are associated with sex. Yeah, so I could see someone maybe not being as comfortable or wanting to know if their partner is also having sexual relationships with other people while they're like in this space, like, so that's one bone I can throw, Kev, but it still requires a conversation and clarity from both parties. Like, just having these arbitrary built-in feelings at the door because you saw some apps on somebody's phone or something is not going to work out. That's not it. But either way, Kevin's going to have to speak up and use his words. But as of now, he sounds kind of crazy, being worried about somebody's apps who's not his man.
I would say this too about good Kev here, good brother Kev, that I don't think he should let the other party go. I don't think he should let this person go just because they're on the apps. I think that, and I want to preface this definitely by saying that, us saying that he's insecure and that he needs help, all of that stuff. Yeah, that's just, our assessment in that. But he even states that it's probably his insecurity. And I'm not saying that it's wrong to have those insecurities. Like I definitely don't want to put that out there, but I think that if you're able to acknowledge the fact that you have these insecurities because of this, then you got to do one of two things. You either have to learn to live with that and know that you're going to have that, and there are going to be situations and instances that are going to make you insecure, and you're okay with retreating in that. Or you've got to, as Brandon said, you've got to say something about it. Like, okay, where exactly are we in this? Are we talking? Are we going to be exclusive, or are we just in this getting to know each other phase? I'm enjoying your company phase, but we're not tied to each other, kind of thing. And that's something that we as Black men aren't as able to do. And I'm speaking again holistically now. For me, I'm like, yeah, we got to figure this out. What are we doing? What is this? How is this working, so that I'm aware of what it is and I know how to move in certain situations. So, but with Kev here, yeah, he's already said it's probably his insecurity, but I don't think he should let the dude go. I think he should just kind of, again, as he said, see where things go.
Yeah, see where things go. And then even if you are, say, meeting someone to be a potential mate, it doesn't mean that you can't have sex with other people that you have no intention of being in a relationship at the same time, especially when you're not exclusive, because we have needs. And I don't think it's fair to judge people that have active sex lives, even though, they may be looking for some companionship that's a little bit more serious. I think those two things don't have to be mutually exclusive.
Right.
It would be nice sometimes for people to do that, but sometimes you're just in that mood or mode where
sometimes you feel like a nut.
you do, and you want to go out and chase and collect them. So nothing wrong with that. Okay. All right. So our next question comes from Paul. This is coming from the Ask Men Advice subreddit. Why do men block hookups straight after hooking up? I've never had a hookup block me. I've never had a hookup block me before, but this one today did straight after sex. Like, what? 3 question marks. I guess I'll give you some information that may impact his reasoning. He just got out of a year relationship, slept with 3 people before me. He couldn't make me climax within the given time because he had to be at work at 11 a.m. We had sex at 10 a.m. I did tell him I take forever to climax. He is very quiet. That's all I could tell you, really.
Can you go back and read all of the stipulations again real quick? I want to make sure I've got all of that.
He just got out of a year relationship, slept with 3 people before me, could not make me climax within the given time because he had to be at work at 11 a.m. and they started having sex at 10 a.m. And this Paul says it takes him forever to climax.
They're sexually incompatible. If it takes you forever to climax, congratulations. But if you're gonna get across the finish line that way, it's taking forever to climax. You got to find a way to get your nut because he got his and he blocked. It's not right, but hey, it happens. He just got out of a 1-year relationship. It's just a hookup. We're not going to end up here and move to the suburbs with a white picket fence, 2 kids, a dog. It's a hookup.
One and done.
Yeah. And that's okay.
Yeah. And you bring up a good point. Because no matter what my performance could be, I also don't want to, myself, take that long to climax. That's a lot of physical work on the body. And moving, gyrating, pounding, and grinding, all of that stuff, it will take a lot of energy. And if I'm the person doing most of the work and my goal here is to get you to climax, then I feel like, yeah, forever is a little, forever, an hour is a little unreasonable. And if that you've got a time limitation, we can make that thing do what it do in like 10 minutes. And it'll be just fine to me. And then I still got enough time to shower and make a little snack before I got to clock in. So I agree with you totally, John, that it seems like that they're incompatible. it's a one and done. Paul's been out of his relationship. He is ready to just be out here and see what this summer vibe is,
Free.
and and that's just there's nothing wrong with you, Paul. It's just that y'all just ain't gonna work. He got to do too much work.
Although Paul might just be more angry at the fact that he got blocked. Like, I'm better than being blocked. Are you really?
Mm.
He is, because it takes him forever to climax.
That part.
I was gonna say, I think the block part is what's extreme to me, but I mean, I know some people who use that very loosely. Like, I don't think I've ever blocked anybody in my phone. I'll just ignore you, like, until you get the clue. Like, I just never been like, oh no, person has to get blocked. Like that's extreme to me, unless it's somebody like, I mean, I don't know, maybe somebody harassing you or hitting you up crazy. I'm like, if y'all hooked up and it wasn't what y'all were looking for, like, was a block the first? Like, I mean, like, okay, don't hook up again.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it wasn't the bells and whistles you wanted, so move on with your life. Like, but it's like the block just seems a bit extreme to me.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with them, like, just acknowledge, like, or with him just telling him, like, if the guy was that pressed about it, that, oh no, it just wasn't a fit for me, I think you're a nice guy, whatever, and move on with your business. But
Okay.
I mean, the block was just a lot to me.
So you feel like that, Paul should have been given closure in some kind of way?
No, not even, I mean, closure, but I mean, it's like, okay, if the only issue between them was the fact that, okay, like, the sex wasn't hitting for both of them or for one of them, and so maybe one of them didn't want to hook up again. I just don't see why he had to go all the way to, like, why he had to block him. And because if the guy wanted to hit him up and say something, he could just use his words with the guy. Like, but I feel like that is such a thing, because nobody wants to have to use words anymore. Like, so everybody is just so trigger. Everybody's so disposable when it comes to people. Like, everybody's protecting their mental health. You're not protecting your mental health, sir. You're blocking him so that you don't have to say anything to him. It's not that serious. Like, stop trying to turn a mountain into a molehill. Like, use your fucking words. Like,
Yeah, and that makes sense. Like you said, that protecting my peace thing with the block button is that people use that a
right.
lot.
It's another one of those trigger terms, like, generational wealth. If I had one more person talking about some damn generational wealth, like, can you shut up? Like,
and people
can I get my donut? Can I get my donut from Dunkin' Donuts?
And people are not a monolith.
Back to generational wealth. Like, come on. What you say, Darius?
I said people not being a monolith. Yeah, that's another one that I get sick of hearing too.
I mean, just all these trigger terms that everybody just throws around. Just shut up. Like, everything isn't a thing.
It's not.
Before you started mentioning the things, that the extra information that Paul offered, when you initially gave the first part of that, I was like, okay, there's two reasons. Normally, being the aficionado of the apps, I've been blocked plenty of times right after, like, a hookup. So there was a couple of things that I thought about at that point that I was like, okay, here is a couple of reasons why he got blocked. One, that the sex was not good, as Brandon was saying, it wasn't hitting for either one of them, or the other party was beginning to catch feelings, and in an effort to not address that, let me just go ahead and remove you from that, because I only wanted this to be that. Because I've had that happen before. One time where I hooked up with somebody really right when I moved here, and he was like, all I'm looking for is a hookup. I'm not looking for anything else. I'm just looking for a hookup. And I was like, okay, cool, no problem. And so we hooked up, and then right after that, he reached out to me and he was like, so what exactly are you looking for? And I was like, that doesn't matter, because you told me that you were only looking for a hookup. And so I said, have you changed your mind? And so he's like, I'm not really sure. And so we didn't get a chance to, like, go out. Something happened that I didn't get a chance to go out with him. But then he just kind of ignored me and didn't reach back out anymore. But there were a lot of other things that were going on here that Paul talked about, that this other person had just gotten out of a 1-year relationship.
Yep.
And then the idea that he had slept with 3 people before Paul. Now, did he sleep with those 3 people earlier in that day before Paul? Or had he slept with those people?
Not enough information given.
1, and 2, how did Paul know? Why did this person tell Paul that he had slept with 3 other people? Or how did Paul find that out? Like that's another thing that I'm trying to figure out. And then why would you hook up with somebody if I got to be at work at 11 and I'm coming to your house at 10? I'm not going to hook up with anybody because there's drive time and stuff like that. And so I'm one of those people who too that it takes a while for me to climax. So no, I'm not going to hook up with nobody and I got an hour before I got to be at work. So I just think that Paul kind of wanted more in that situation. And I think just like everybody else said, that he felt some type of way when he got blocked because he was like, okay, this person was kind of dope. And the apps are a crapshoot. So if you find somebody that you're attracted to enough that you want to sleep with them, or that you're allowing them to be in your space like that intimately, then there has to be something that is standing out among that or standing out from with that person among everybody else. And the idea too of blocking, which I don't care for either, unless you're being harassing in those respects. But the attention span of people who are on the apps is short. And sometimes I think that people block after they've met somebody because it keeps them from unintentionally doubling back to that person. Because
I was thinking that. I was just thinking.
I have had that happen too, where people I've met people and I've met them maybe on one app, and then they just kind of stopped communicating with me on one app. But then we meet on something else, and they completely forget that we actually had a full conversation. We met in person. You know, we might have even done some stuff, and they will completely forget. And like, you'll show your picture and all of that stuff, and they still won't remember. Like, and until they get to your house and they're like, oh, wait a minute, I've been here before.
That's
And
crazy to me.
yeah, I've been here before. And it's like, yeah, you have. And welcome back. So let's go.
Okay. All right, cool. All are valid reasons, I think, or a good explanations on why a person would get blocked after hooking up. All right, so our next question comes from Alex. This comes from the Gay Bros subreddit. Does swapping nudes with a close friend of yours count as cheating? So Alex is 30. His boyfriend is 33. So my boyfriend admitted to me a few days ago that he swapped nudes with his close friend that is a guy too. He told me that they were really good friends, just really good friends, and really comfortable at each other, that there is no malice and he has no sexual attraction, desire, or lust to that guy. He told me they did it a while. He is in a relationship with me, and I'm reading this verbatim, so that's where this is kind of jacked up. Now I'm really
the grammar is horrible.
The grammar is all over the place. Now I'm really confused if that counts as cheating. Did he cheat on me? This is my first relationship, and I don't know what's happening. I'm really confused, betrayed, and disrespected. And he added this edit. I'm really sorry. I forgot to put his reason behind his action. He told me that they were just joking around, which is contradicting for me. I have friends that joke inappropriately to each other, but we all know that we will not go past that just because sending pics is a deeper level and more intimate that only partners do.
I mean, all of these things, I swear I have so many questions like for all of this stuff. Like, I really want to know the context. I really want to know the deeper context as to why they were swapping nudes. I mean, that idea of it, we were just joking around, like, what was the context of the joke? That it was like, oh yeah, my dick is bigger than yours, so you know, let's see. Like, okay, like how does that happen? That's a joke, but I don't know if it.
Real quick interruption, but think about it. Like in the group me, how many news we done seen in the group me? I know everybody done seen my nude picture in the group me. And that's all empty. That's all surface level, just literally just joking amongst friends.
Okay.
Okay,
I
so
I could see that, but it's like you didn't start that thread either. Like you didn't start the jokes on that. Like that was another one of our mutual friends that just decided he was going to come in and start talking about stuff and then sharing certain things. And so everybody, there was a whole group of people who were doing
Okay,
that.
that's true.
But the other thing about that is that none of us at the time when all of that happened were in relationships either. We were all just a bunch of guys hanging out, laughing with each other, and that was what it was. So that's different. In his situation, he's saying that he's in this relationship and he feels disrespected and betrayed because he swapped nudes with somebody who was a friend of his. So again, it's that idea of communication. That's happened to me before where I've swapped nudes with somebody that was a friend who that person was in a relationship, and that person got really bent out of shape when I sent them the nudes, and I apologized for that because we were talking about, you remember when we used to have eggplant Friday?
Mm-hmm.
So it was that sort of situation, and actually it wasn't even a nude, it was just like an underwear like pic. And
Just a nasty,
like Jeff,
nasty.
I think you might remember when this happened, because this is somebody that we know, like that was a part of the
I remember
cipher.
I didn't participate in this, but I
Yeah,
remember.
but I sent him like an underwear shot of me, and he got so bent out of shape about it and was like, why would you send this? And I was like, well, because we were talking about this, and you were saying something like you hope that you saw some eggplants, et cetera, et cetera. And he's like, but I'm in a relationship, and I was like, yeah, that I mean, okay, I apologize if that made you feel some type of way, because I wasn't trying to infringe on your relationship, because I'm not interested, and was really just bent out of shape about it. And I was like, okay, and then didn't want to talk to me for a while after that. But what was interesting was maybe like a few months later, after that relationship ended,
Mm-hmm.
he doubled back.
See,
Yeah.
Well, cheating, no, definite
hey,
violation. He needs to kind of have that conversation with this guy and really tell him how he feels, hopefully with better grammar. Um,
I
see,
hope so.
but yeah, this being his first relationship and having to deal with that, if it inspires, the way he said he felt, he needs to kind of let him know, hey, I don't appreciate that. And in his own world, if that is quantifiable as cheating, it's cheating, but it now leaves him with the heavy load of, what do you do at this point? Is this relationship strong enough to survive his friend having his nudes? Is it
And
something you can't come back from? Hmm?
he's
that should
putting
not be a
20 on
relationship
10.
hurdle.
Yeah,
I'm
he's putting
sorry.
20 on 10 because it's a new relationship. That's why. It's he says his first relationship.
Mhm.
So anything anybody does is going to set somebody off if they're just entering this world of dating and relationships.
Yeah.
I don't want to absolve his feeling in that, but like for real, dude, like this is so trivial. Like it wasn't like he slept with the dude, wasn't like he
That's
was, over that man house, with his tongue down his throat, or
Right.
his tongue on other body parts or in other body parts. It wasn't any of that. It was, I sent this picture, maybe I got one in return, and that was it.
Hmm.
yeah, like I just think the whole thing is ridiculous. And I mean, I'm glad that we have the balance so that some of y'all can give him grace. I think this is absolutely absurd. To be asking like, is that cheating? Like, and especially because it's not like some random person's nude popped up on your man's phone. You know whose nude it is. It's like your man's friend. So at least there's context to start the conversation. Literally, like, let's have a conversation. Once again, that's the big pink letter in the room. Have a conversation. What do you call it? The pink
Elephant.
elephant in the room.
Elephant.
I was like the
Yeah,
Elephant.
pink
like
letter. Wow.
have letter. I could not get it out. But yeah, have a conversation. Like get the context. Like it's not cheating. you sound crazy, bro. Of course, this is not cheating.
Mhm.
Like, now, if it turns out that after you have this conversation, oh yeah, well, him and this friend actually have a little something more going on, that's the issue, not the damn nude from the friend. The
Yeah.
fact that the issue was the fact that they got something more going on and that it's not emptily. Because I'm like, yeah, y'all
Okay.
saved them.
I want to do
Okay.
Alex and Kev know
Oh,
one
go
another.
ahead.
I want to do Alex and Kev know one another. Insecurity is breeding its.
Well, I'll say this. So y'all know I'm in my nudist era. And so for me, first off, I don't feel that the exchange of nudes is cheating. It's not cheating in and of itself, but it also is not cheating for me. And I feel like every relationship is going to be different and going to have its own set of bespoke rules. And so that would be a conversation. Now, say if they had a conversation where sending news to another person that's not me is considered cheating, then okay, if that's what's in your relationship, then yeah, he would have violated that. If they had not had this discussion before and he just assumed that his boyfriend, if Alex assumed that his boyfriend would not have done this, then he can't fault his boyfriend for having this exchange. That being said, I see naked men all the time. So I don't think that if it were me, I wouldn't be too worried about it. Like, oh, you got sent a nude. I actually have friends that do send me unsolicited nudes. And I'll just be like, all right, dude, well, great. You look good. I compliment them and just keep it moving. I'm also not in a relationship.
What's the
But
context of them sending you the nudes though? Like, oh, look at me and
just
look at these
yeah,
gains.
yeah, look at these gains, or they just want to be seen.
Not
And
game.
some
Look at
guys
these naked gains.
some guys just they just do that for me or to me rather, and we talk or chat, we send messages or whatever, but it's also not just a sexual or nudist thing. It's like, oh, they send me a picture of them nude. Okay, cool, well, I've seen you naked before, so all right, cool, you look good, and I just kind of keep it moving. I don't make it a big deal because of the stage of life that I'm at now. Like I said, I'm in my nudist era. So I've become more confident in accepting of my own body and being nude and in the nudist naturalist spaces. And for me, I can separate sex and nudity and see them as two completely different things. So it would not bother me if I got this, or if I was dating someone and they got that. For me, it would be more like, well, if is there something more going on here that you're not telling me? So based on the our previous episode of non-monogamy, I'll be fine with that, but I don't want to be kept in the dark. It needs to be ethical. So if you do have something going on with me, the person would have known that they would have been able to be like, oh, hey, this is my boyfriend, and this is my friend. We exchanged nudes and we used to date, or I think I may want to do something with him, like with me. My next relationship would already know that I'm okay with that. I just need you to tell me, and I'll be fine. But if we're in a presumed monogamous relationship, and this is this person's first relationship, so we're going to assume that it's monogamous, but also, as was mentioned, this is this guy's first relationship. He's going to be triggered by everything. He's going to be triggered by any time that man looks at TV and sees, Michael B. Jordan or Chris Hemsworth on screen, and he's looking all goo goo gaga. He's gonna feel a little certain way that, oh, my man likes these, actors and these muscular guys, because it takes a while to get through that stage of a relationship, or where you don't get jealous over things like that. And I think that it's all of that is new, so he's got to kind of process this type of reaction to the point where it gets numb and he realizes it's not such of a big deal. So for me, I would not have a problem with this. It would not count as cheating. If it's, something that's every now and again, I don't see any harm with it. Again, I see naked men all the time. I'm not going to delete nudes in my phone. If I have a partner later on and they want to, go through my phone, have at it. Probably not going to do that. But if you were, you wouldn't see anything like that's salacious anyway.
Yeah, all
But
mine are locked up in my
yeah, I've got
keepsake.
Yeah, you gotta use Face ID to see, nudes in my phone anyway. So, but that really wouldn't be such a thing for me. So I'm just gonna, stop it there and just say no, for me, it would not be considered cheating. Now, that being said, as y'all are my friends, don't send me nudes.
Okay, well, I'll say this for Alex, since the door's been opened in the relationship to send out nudes, Alex, I mean, not being, I don't want this to sound vengeful, but hell, if you got nudes, send them out to somebody. Just send them out,
That is vengeful.
See?
It is.
Well,
All of that is
Pick a
vengeful.
random person and just send some news.
that's
Send some
what
nudes.
Alex deal with. I'm just
Oh,
trying to
you're
get.
doing it. I'm gonna do it too.
I'm trying to help out.
Send to your grandmother.
Hey,
So-
grandma's with it.
So on the next question, I'm gonna actually kind of keep this in the same area. All right. So this is coming from Gabe Rose, and it's coming from Carlos.
And he's
If-
already smiling, so it's gonna be crazy.
So if someone suggested wanting to see you naked, would you be flattered or turned off? Like if you're at a bar and a cute guy introduces themselves and proposes wanting you to flash them, would you be grossed out or take them to a place and do it?
I mean, it would just depend on whether or not I want to see them naked. Like
Mhm.
if I'm into you, then like we can establish getting that thing going. But like if somebody just wants to see me naked, I'm like, I mean, I guess most likely it's a compliment
Mhm.
if somebody's saying like, I want to see you naked. But I mean, it's just like it's all depending on the other person. Like if I'm not
Got
going
it.
anywhere to show you myself naked just because you said you want to see me naked. Like
Right.
if I don't care to see you naked, then let's not waste time here.
Yeah, if there's
Go
an
get my drink,
exchange,
right?
yeah, if there's an exchange, I would probably be for it. I would think about it. I mean, it depends on how they would approach me. But again, if I would be into them and think that they were cute, I'd be like, all right, there's no harm for this because I actually would feel oddly enough better about that than actually sending them a nude pic because they can keep that and redistribute it, however they want to. Versus, we can just go to the bathroom or pull up to the trough and I can whip it out and pull it down and you can see that and it's in your imagination. We've gone out about our business to the sunset and no big deal. People see me again naked all the time if I go to the Korean spa or some nudist event, so I'm not going to feel too ashamed about you seeing me in the club for 5 seconds. I'm not going to be like gratuitously naked at the bathroom trough at the Eagle. I'm not going to do that. But, I probably would be down for it if the drinks were flowing and, the time was right and I was into the person. So I'd be okay with it.
That's a whole lot of factors.
I
Somebody
mean,
that's in
troughs.
yeah, that's in their
If
nudist
I hit
era.
trough one more time,
the troughs. And I say that because it's easier to, see another dude's dick at the trough when you go to pee because, it's just an open trough. Versus going to like a stall, like going to a stall just seems kind of seedy more than going to a trough, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah,
I would be more apt to, doing that. Just
nice
me.
to think Jeff was classy based.
I am very classy based.
I'll tell you this. Heaven forbid that person walked up on somebody saying, I want you to flash me. And that person's reading Shonda Rhimes' A Year of Yes, and they just go ahead and flash them. Me personally, I would do it, but I want more than just me flashing you. Like it gives slight Predator vibes for me.
Okay.
I'm sorry, what kind of vibes?
Predator.
Oh, Predator. Okay.
I can't think of anything better, so I'm just gonna go with Predator because it's like you just walk up on somebody and say, I want you to flash me. It's like, do you just go around to various people and say, I want you to flash me for no particular reason? So I would want just a little bit more than just a flash because the one thing you don't want is to be in the wrong place at the wrong time and you get an indecent exposure charge.
Mm-hmm.
All because some nut job that came up to you and said, oh yeah, I want you to flash me. Nah.
All right, so I get that. That's that, especially in Atlanta, and how our magical places go.
Mm-hmm.
We have many magic places.
So many.
So many magical
There's
places.
too many to name, and actually, any place in Atlanta can be considered a magic place. Speaking of magic places, I actually have had that happen to me where someone wanted me to pull it out and show them. And I talked about this in a previous episode, and this happened at the magical place of the Cheesecake Factory. Insert
That's right. I remember that.
insert the more you know little music. So yeah, it happened there, and I mean I wasn't interested. I literally just went to use the bathroom, and this guy was standing in there and just was looking at me while I was washing my hands and was like, what's up? And so I spoke and continued to wash my hands, and so he was holding himself, and I was like, okay, I don't know what's going on with you, sir, but I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing here. And he was like, well, let me see it. Let me see it. And I was like, sir, no. And I left.
That's like a crackhead on the corner. Like
Yeah.
just let me get a quick hit.
Yeah, just let me, yeah.
What is wrong with you, sir? Go
Let me
away.
get one rib, Yeah. So it was crazy. And I think I also told you about the guy that pulled me into the bathroom at the diner when I was in Florida, and I was like, oh, what is this about? But that did go a little bit farther than flashing. But
No.
So
But
John,
see-
you see who's the classy one around these parts, right?
oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I was classily pulled into the bathroom.
oh,
They classily pulled into the bathroom
Mhm.
in the back stall.
but John, you did, stand
No, it was a
on
single bathroom. It was yeah, it was it was just that bathroom. So it wasn't a stall or anything. Nope.
But John, you did bring back the important bit that he said he just introduced it. So, like I said, my answer was basically based on it wouldn't have been like if someone just introduced themselves to me, and if I thought they were hot and they wanted me to go flash them in the bathroom, I would, look a little side eye. But I'm answering thinking that we've talked and had, a decent conversation and the vibe is good. Not that, we just met and then like 2 seconds later you want to go to the bathroom and see my junk. No, I don't think I'm gonna be down for that.
That's
But
simple though. Somebody 2 seconds of conversation. Oh yeah, I just need you to flash me.
oh yeah, I mean, I'm sure if he's asking me, that means it worked with someone beforehand. I'm certain that I'm not going to be the first person that he's ever asked that for. So if I'm Carlos. All right, so we're going to move on to our last
If you're
question.
what?
Carlos is who asked this question.
Oh, okay. I was about to say, I was like,
No.
who is this
Yeah.
person?
Yeah. All right, so we're moving on to our last question, guys. This is coming from Darnell, and this is coming from the Ask Men Advice subreddit. So Darnell says that my husband and I are madly in love and have always been faithful. After almost 20 years together, I have developed a fetish for being watched, being risque, and edging me/him in public. We are going on a road trip soon, and my situation is this. I love giving head, and I love playing with myself while he's driving or flashing. The excitement for me would be giving him head while I'm pantsless, ass up, playing with myself while other people passing could see. Would this be something a typical spouse would want, or would it be too much? And would you disapprove as someone driving by seeing this?
Why would he ask a bunch
Right.
of strangers about if this is something that my husband would enjoy? See, this is clickbait. This is that same clickbait shit that we just talked about with Cinnamon Toast Crunch. So
I wasn't raised like this.
yeah, right. Nobody was raised like this. This is some
that's
shit
why
that you made up and came up with and thought it was cool.
This is why I pulled these questions from Reddit, because I knew you're gonna get some bullshit like this.
It's and what's crazy is this idea of how it starts out like all fairy tale-ish
And the way
like
Right,
we've
been
in
married
love and
20
we've been
years.
married for 20 years, and so I have just developed this fetish for edging and what did he say? Public
Black.
Being risque and
Being
being
risque.
watched.
and being watched. Yeah, being watched doing what though? Like besides
Probably just being watched in general. I think that this person has unlocked their voyeurism, so they're in their voyeurism era,
And that's fine. There are
exhibitionist
places for that.
exhibitionist era, actually.
right. Yeah.
Go to the Voyeur Club.
Yeah.
The voyeur club.
Like,
So I'm gonna
that's-
say to answer the question, would this be something a typical spouse would want? And
No.
would you disapprove as someone driving by? Hell no, this is
Yes.
not what typical people want.
exactly.
Typical people are not into this. Now they may be into a little bit of CarPlay, and every now and then, that's fine. It's not a regular thing, but every now and then, every season change or excuse me, that's
You
fine.
leave the gym.
It could be one of those things that it's a quiet road. We've got, let's just stop over here. It's raining and, pull over to the side and something like that. I can see that every now and then, but we're not going to be driving down Atlanta on Spaghetti Junction.
No.
And ass up, face down, arching your back, and I'm edging
Playing
you
with yourself.
right. You're
Right.
playing with yourself and all that. No, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. Like I'm okay with some things. I am definitely not approved, but I am not doing that. I'm
Soccer
not
mom in the car next with the kids
right
going to practice.
because you gonna be up on ATL Scoop and Georgia followers if you do that here in Atlanta for real. We love to record stuff here. And I'm sure
there's
every
not
major
a
city.
point in Atlanta where you're actually going to be able to continue to drive so that it's not a situation that people are just staring at you, because at any point you're going to run into traffic and you're going to stop and you're going to be at a standstill. So you're going to be doing all this like while people are literally you're in the parking lot that is 75, 85 or
Right.
400 or 285 in Atlanta or any major metropolitan city. No.
Right. Yeah. And Darnell doesn't say where he's at. I'm just using
Yeah. If you're in Buck Tussle, USA, then yeah, that makes sense. You could probably go down one of those little side streets that is gravel, and not be concerned about anything other than cows and fainting goats. But that, come on, people. Like, but again, conversation.
Yeah.
It's like it's just so like extreme. Like, because there are
Mhm.
definitely levels to this where it's like, I mean, how many people have gotten who had Bible study while driving in the car? You know
Plenty
what
of
I mean?
people.
Like,
Bible study. Yeah.
yes. So
prayer meeting.
right, exactly. Little men's fellowship while driving or something like that, but I mean, you're not going full throttle, like, and being as ridiculous as this person. Like,
Right.
It didn't taxi cab confessions.
No, it's not. And truck drivers, because they're so high up above, regular cars, people actually do stuff for the truck drivers' entertainment or shock. So the truck drivers tell you that they see lots of things that be happening, but people be doing in cars. So,
yeah, they do. Darnell is on an elite level of.
Is he an elite employee?
Yeah, definitely.
Is that what we're calling it?
For Darnell's sake, yeah, because
Oh,
Darnell
okay.
done went way out there. In a perfect world, sure, this could all happen. No issues. Unfortunately, we don't live in that kind of world.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Darnell, like Jeff said earlier, Darnell, if you get out here doing some shit like this, we gonna see you on social media. We're going to be pointing. We're going to be laughing. We're going to know your face, whether you're in Atlanta, New York, Detroit, Bumblefuck, Alabama. we gonna know you. All because you done got into this voyeur era of yours. God bless you on that, but I think you need to kind of have some more attainable, defined goals before you do this. And Lord knows we don't need the truck drivers to see you, because truck drivers get into their own little things. I mean, parking lot pimping. There's a lot that can go on in the cab of a truck driver's truck.
Lot lizards.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's hot, but
like, that could be much hotter.
Yeah, but that not if I'm in a car. And
you know what, Darnell? I hope Darnell's husband is a truck driver. That'd be See,
Yeah, now maybe if that's the case, then I could completely go with you on this idea of doing things in a truck. But again, the truck is high up enough that if I don't want to see it, I'm not going to see it. If I'm just
Right.
kind of driving by and I happen to see it, okay, then dope. But maybe, but nah, not a Ford Festiva.
you know,
Alfa Romeo,
A Mazda Miata, you know,
a Toyota Tercel.
Toyota,
two-door.
a Buick LeSabre, you know, I don't know.
Oh shoot. All right, guys. So I'm going to wrap up this section of the questions and the advice. So thanks for indulging me as we kind of go down the hallways of Reddit and just pull some crazy stuff. So we may do this again. I actually enjoyed this a lot. So
When John said goals, for some reason that made me think of Napoleon Dynamite. He was like talking about skills. He was like, "You have any skills? You need skills, Napoleon."
All right.
Random. Sorry.
That's okay.
We hope you enjoyed this episode. Now be sure to like, share, and follow us on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Podcasts, and Spotify at Just Draws. That's JUSTDRAWZ. Until next time, as you interact within your various communities, remember to be like Draws and don't be afraid to offer a little bit of support.